Everyone, welcome to my channel. So here today we are going to be looking at the perpendicular distance of a point. It could be a point or between two parallel lines. So we are going to have, let's say we have a line from here like that. Then let's say we have a point here. So we are required to find the perpendicular distance like that. So how can we find this distance? So this distance, the perpendicular distance, can be found by this formula. So if for an equation that is expressed in the form ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, the perpendicular distance is given by the formula ax plus your by plus your c, the absolute value, meaning to say even if it comes out to be negative, you invert the result or change the sign. It will be over a squared plus b squared like that. So let's have an example. We have find the perpendicular distance from this line to that. So let's imagine that there is a line, then there is a point here which is perpendicular to that. From that line, from that point 1, -2 to that line, we want to find the perpendicular distance. So remember, the distance is equal to, for any equation that is expressed in the form of ax, make sure that it's expressed in the form ax plus your bx plus your c like that. So we are going to have should be equal to 0. Look at your equation. Your equation is saying that 3y should be equal to 4x minus y. So make sure it is in this form. So what are we going to do? So we are going to take, if we want, we can take everything this side, or if we want, we can take this the other side. But anyways, everything is still the same. Let's just since a is the one, ax is the one beginning, let's take things this side so that this one remains to be positive. But even if you take it that side, it will still be the same. So we have our 0 should be equal to 4x, then followed by bx, so this one becomes negative 3y, then we have minus this. So you can now rewrite beginning with this. We have 4x minus 3y minus 1 should be equal to 0 like that. So this is the equation expressed in the form ax plus by plus c should be equal to 0 like that. So the distance will be equal to the absolute value of ax plus by plus c over the square root of a squared plus our b squared. So the distance will be equal to what is our a. So a will be the coefficient, which will be our 4 there. So we have 4. Then our x, it is the point from 1 and -2. So we have, for x it is 1. Then we have plus our b, it will be negative since the coefficient of b is negative. So we have -3. Then our y, it is passing at -2, so we have a -2 plus our c, which is the last value. Our c in this case is -1, so we are going to say -1. If you want, you can say plus then -1, but we can just go direct and say -1 like that, divided by our a squared. So our a is the coefficient, so our a is 4, so we have 4 squared plus our b is this coefficient, so be careful, put them in brackets since they are being squared. Then we have d should be equal to, we have 4 times 1, it is 4, negative by negative it is positive, so 3 by 2 is 6. Then we have -1 over, we have the square root of 4 squared is 16, -3 squared is 9. So we have the distance should be equal to 4 plus 6, that's 10 minus 1, that's 9. So the absolute value of 9 over the square root of 16 by 9 is 25, which will be the absolute value of 9 is 9 over the absolute square root of 5 is 5 units. Let's look at the distance, perpendicular distance, perpendicular distance between two parallel lines. So the perpendicular distance between two parallel lines is given by, so if let's say we have this one and this one, these two lines are parallel to each other, then the perpendicular distance, straight line. Okay, so this is our perpendicular distance, that is perpendicular to both lines A and B. Now if these two lines are perpendicular to each other, that means to say they have the same gradient, and for that reason they are going to subtract themselves. Therefore the distance between two perpendicular lines, two parallel perpendicular lines, like we have two parallel lines, then we have the perpendicular distance between those two, it is given by the absolute of C1 minus C2 over the square root of A squared plus our B squared, like that. You will observe why we do this. So we have, let's say we have find the perpendicular distance. So let's say we have our 3x plus 5y should be equal to negative 7. We also have our 3x plus 5y is equal to negative 11. So due to this factor that they are parallel, it means to say their gradient is the same. So therefore even the number that will be here will be the same, because for you to find the gradient you have to divide this number, and the only way it's possible is if you have the same number here and the same number here. That is the only condition for being parallel. The number on x and the number on y should be the same, then the change is the c. So that's why instead of saying the distance is ax plus by and all that, we are just interested in this changing, because at the end of the day we are subtracting. So the original equation was like this: distance is equal to ax1 minus by1, then we have plus our c1, then this we subtract, minus x2 minus, since there are two lines, minus plus b, the subtraction is here, by2, then we have plus our c2. Now when you do this, you are going to find that this one and this one are the same. They are having same numbers. They are going to cancel themselves as they subtract. ax1 minus ax2 is 0. This and this will go. Then you are just going to remain with your distance to be c1 minus c2, like that over the square root of a squared, then we have plus b squared, like that. So in this case we are going to express it in the general form. We have in the form, so we have plus 5y should be equal to negative 7. We also have our 3x plus 5y should be equal to negative 11. So we are going to express it in the form ax plus by plus c. So that means to say this should come this side, so that we have 3x plus 5y plus 7 should be equal to 0. Even this other equation, which is our 3x plus 5y, when this comes this side, it will be equal to plus 11 should be equal to 0. So if you subtract these, 3x minus 3x, it will go 5y minus 5y, it will go. That's why we just remain with that. So we are going to say distance should be equal to c1 minus c2, the absolute value, over the square root of our a squared plus our b squared. So our c1, which is 7, so we are going to have 7 minus c2, which is 11, over a squared. A squared is equal to, we have a, the one with x, which is our 3 squared, plus our b, which is our 5 squared, like that. So we are going to have the absolute of 7 minus 4. We are going to have 7 minus 4 is negative 4, like that, over the square root of 3 squared is 9 plus 5 squared is 25. We are going to have the absolute value of a negative number will be positive, over 9 plus 25, it will be 34, like that. So we have 34 units. So that is how we are going to be dealing with that. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next tutorial. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up so that our video can reach more views, and see you in the next tutorial.